where do we look for these opportunities for our children? And what types of work, life, social skill experiences do each of these environments offer as well?
Yeah. I can speak first to churches. That's an excellent place to get plugged in, especially if your church has a disability ministry. Then there's already people there that are advocating for them and want them to be there and can provide opportunities for them to help get plugged in with guest services or with other areas in the children's ministry. So it's definitely very fun. I got to be a part of a church here just a few months ago, launching some service opportunities for their teens and adults with disabilities. And so what the person that was organizing this had done was gone through the list of their church service opportunities for the whole body and seen, okay, well, we could maybe modify this where, this person might really like to do this. And they had literally gone through every single volunteer opportunity within the whole organization. And they came up with the kindergarten worship leader and, the preschool snack pass person and the person that pushes the buggy with all the screaming babies and the children's ministry.
That's a great one.
Yeah. They served in the cafe and passed out programs and welcomed people at the door. And so having someone that is advocating in that is excellent, but also we really see that it's the parent most of the time that's saying, hey, my child has this ability to serve. We want to. How can we get plugged in? And so I think it's a lot of asking questions and making connections. So even where there were a lot of these Christmas packages that had to be put together where they have a family Christmas Eve service. They have bags for all the children where there's a coloring sheet and some crayons and some other little things to keep them preoccupied. One of the moms said, hey, my son can stuff all these at home. So they took home 500 of these bags and stuffed them all. So it's great opportunities like that. So church is definitely one of the best places, I think, to be able to get plugged in. But there's a ton of others.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback with some of the church things, a couple other things to think through there too. Especially if you've got a higher functioning individual with special needs. Sometimes they want to be part of the class, but they don't want to be part of the class because they're the ones that you can sit there and say, hey, can you help us, in organizing everything and giving them jobs just helps them feel more confident with that and doing things. Another amazing area, especially where this really seems to work well, especially with our friends with autism, is working with the worship team and the AVL, managing the soundboard. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful for them. They love it. Put on the headphones. It's not too loud for them. And then they can manage the lights. They can do all that. It's usually dark back there, so they like that. And it's, again, an area that they can succeed in. One thing you may find, again, we talked a little bit about it earlier, you might get some pushback from the children's ministry, the student ministry, or even a disability ministry that you might need to have a buddy along with your individual to serve at church. Who cares? And I say that all the time. And again, as a parent, you can be that self-advocate. You can be the advocate for your child, I should say, where, you say, hey, they really want to serve. I want to see what we can do for that and help them get there. And worst case scenario, it might be okay if you step alongside them and help them serve. We've had some who've done that with handing out, the bulletins at the door. So those are great things. But another great place to serve, nonprofits. They're wonderful. We are a perfect one. SOAR Special Needs. We love having our participants come back and serve with us. We've got story after story after story where we've got our families and our participants, our friends who become volunteers for us. because they love what we're doing. And then there comes a point that they're like, I love this, but I want to give back. I think I might be able to be a buddy, or I think I want to serve food at it, or I want to be a greeter. Or one of them said, I love taking pictures. Can I take pictures? A great thing, and they just went around taking pictures the whole time. We need that. So these are all great things, but then we've got so many other things too. And many nonprofits have that can be taken home. Like, Elizabeth just alluded to, we constantly have things that can be packed at home, or crafts that can be kind of pre-made in that. So we've got things for higher functioning, for normal functioning, and even for low functioning that we can always come up with. It never matters what level your child is, what severity they are. There is always something you're going to be able to find for them to do. And if a nonprofit says they don't have anything, you need to move on, because they're not worth working with to begin with. But you're going to find, if you're able to work with a nonprofit who actually does work with special needs, they're going to be much more open to begin with, and would love to have that. Even we do virtual respites and a lot of different virtual things. We've actually had some of our friends come on and they're like, we'd like to be a virtual room leader and help with that. And that's awesome. Been a fun thing where they could do that, and they could just kind of help encourage and talk with others in the room. They wanted to kind of be a friend and appear to the others. Well, that's a great thing. How awesome is that? And so, we're able to have, someone from Kansas City talk with someone in Houston who's talking with someone in Minnesota, and they're forming this relationship just because, she's like, I want to help out. I want to do something, and I'm enjoying this. And so those are things. So nonprofits are a great opportunity.
Right.
With that.
I think ultimately also, as you're building your community and your network with your family, you're going to come across other opportunities, and they're going to say, come join me in this. And so I think that as you're being an advocate for your child, as they're learning to be an advocate for yourself, you're also building other advocates for them around you. And so they're going to be able to also say, hey, why don't you guys join me for this, cleaning up our neighbor's yard, or this, Christmas event that we're going to do, or whatever it is, come join me. And, sometimes even if your individual's needing another buddy to serve alongside them, it might be the neighbor that's like, oh, well, I'll go with them. I want to do that. And so that's a really cool way to build relationships too.
Right.